Check out this great eBay find. The person had this listed on eBay. They had it for $39. Buy it now, plus shipping. But for some reason, they sent me an offer for $29 and plus shipping. The shipping was just under $30. So it was about $58 that I paid for this setup. It came with the Turner desk mic. It's a Pearce Simpson Bengal. It's a 23 channel AM and sideband radio. It's got AM and sideband. So far what I've noticed is that the mic jack is loose, this knob is loose, and this switch it appears to be broken. It moves, but nothing happens when it moves. You can tell it's not connected anymore. So I'm going to open this thing up and see what we can find inside before I plug it in. Just because I've had bad experiences in the past. Plugging them in right away and then poof! Something goes flooey inside because somebody messed around in there. So let's open this thing up and see what we have inside. It's pretty easy. It has 2 screws on each side. You can see them right there. So we'll pop out those 2 screws on this side, pop out the 2 screws on the other side, and we'll be in. This was an as-is purchase. The person that sold it never even plugged it in. I bought a bunch of radios from this person, and I'll be having more videos coming up of the other radios. After they sent me the offer on this one, I started looking at their other auctions, and they had a lot of cheap radios listed. Older, just basic radios, but nothing spectacular. I sent him an offer for all of the radios that they had listed, and they ended up working with me, and for, I believe it was $94 total. I bought this radio, this mic, 3 other radios, each with its own microphone. One of them has a power mic and an external speaker, and they also gave me a little coax jumper. So we're inside the radio. Let me bring you in close and we'll take a look at this thing together and see what we see inside of this thing. Alright, well I already see a little bit of weirdness going on in there. Can you see that? There's a resistor soldered to one leg of the meter, but only one leg of that resistor is connected. What's the point of that? It's not connected to anything. The end is just in free space. Why is that resistor there? This is definitely an old timer. Well, that's kind of interesting too. Can you see this? It's the pot for to switch it from AM to sideband. Why they didn't just put a knob on the front is beyond me. Because it's a turn, it's a potentiometer, well, a click one. I don't know what you'd actually call that. It's a switch, isn't it? It seems like that's a little over-engineered to me. Personally, I think that should have just gone up and been a knob. That's interesting, though. What else can we see? Look at that. Look at all the crystals for this. There's no PLL chip in this radio. This is all crystal controlled. Oh, I see some more goofiness. Can we get you so you can see that? Let me move you a little bit. Can you see that right there? that resistor has been clipped. Oh, and these have all been backed way out. You see it? Somebody tried to get a lot of power out of this thing. Oh, and the coils have been spread too. Oh, I hate when they do that. But seeing as how this radio is from the mid-70s, you kind of expect some things to have gone on. But that's really all I see so far, is that clipped resistor. The fact that they hacked it to try and get more power out of it. And that weird resistor up there on the meter. Alright, I feel pretty confident about plugging this thing in. It looks pretty good in there. It just has some goofiness that somebody did to it. Let's put some power to it and see what happens. It sure is a pretty radio, isn't it? It's got a nice face on it. Alright, let's plug this thing in. Actually, can we see that? That's not original. That's probably why it's loose. Originally, this radio had a 3-pin mic connector. But somebody changed the jack in order to use a 4-pin, a standard 4-pin plug. Which, in my opinion, is a good thing, as long as it was done right. I gotta open up the bottom cover and take a look at that, because that's loose, and this is loose. So we're gonna open it up, but first, this isn't, I don't think it's gonna affect the, actually, you know what? Let's open up that bottom cover before plugging it in, just to be on the safe side, just in case this twisted and is shorting out any wires. Let's be on the safe side. Let's open up that bottom cover. It just has 4 screws holding this cover on. It's going right there, right there. And move that camera so you can see it. There's another one here. Same thing on that side. And then in the front, it just has these slide-in notches. Alright, let's get these screws out of here. Alright, I got that bottom cover off. And I already tightened up the mic jack. And they did an alright job with that. It's soldered strong. It's not pretty, but it'll work. And there's nothing shorting out in there. So that will be fine. The knob that's loose is going to have to get tightened from taking the bezel off or pulling the knobs off, because there's nothing back here to tighten it. But as you can see, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. It's wiggling. So I need to tighten that one up. See, this one is nice and tight. That one doesn't move at all. Look at that old school stuff. The clarifier. Isn't that neat? It's an air gap. They don't actually touch. They just ride right in between each other. And they have the perfect gap in between each fin on there. It's a non-stop. This thing will just turn forever. I just put it like that. It looks kind of good as a circle. I know that's not going to be where it needs to be, but it's okay for now. Everything else on this bottom side looks pretty good to me. Can we see? Where is what I'm looking for? It's hard to see in the camera. Can you see that? No radio is complete without a dead bug. We got a dead moth inside of there. Let's get that little guy out of there. It's actually just a moth's wing. The rest of the moth wasn't there anymore. Well, that looks a little messy, doesn't it? But it all looks alright to turn this thing on. So let's put some power to this thing and see what it does. Alright, you ready? I got the mic plugged into it. I have it plugged into the outlet. I don't have an antenna on it yet, but I'm not going to transmit yet. First, we just want to make sure that it powers up. Well, it powers up and makes some noise, but The channel indicator is not lighting up. It's on CB. Yeah, see, when we put it on PA, the meter light shuts off. It's back on CB. And we don't have a channel indicator. Let me get a flashlight, see if I can shine a flashlight through the back side to see what it would look like lit up. Well, it looks like we need a mirror to read this channel indicator. It's backwards. Well, somebody took it apart and didn't know how to put it back together. Let's open that up. Let me shut the radio back off. These are a unique setup on these. The center of it is a little bolt. Nope, that little bolt's down on the floor now. And if we take this out, you can see that we have our channel indicator. Let me see if I can get a reflection on the back side, and you can see that the light just shines through that. So let me move this a pinch. You see that the light just shines right through and illuminates the channel number you're on. But they had it in backwards, and unfortunately it can go in two different ways. So I think we need to put an antenna on this thing and figure out which channel it's on. Is it on 19? Or is it on 7? Well, I'm going to guess that that's probably channel 7, because if you notice, the 7 is right at the top. And if I flip it over, oh, well, no, I take that back. That's right at the top too, isn't it? Alright, let's put an antenna on it and figure out which way this thing goes. Because we can't have it backwards. That's just wrong. I'm going to put my attic dipole connected to this. And I have it connected to a meter so we can see if this thing has any output. Alright, what we're going to do is I'm going to put my Washington on, well, let's put it on channel 7, because I'm betting that's supposed to be on 7 right now. Let's back you up a little bit. Turn this thing back on. You got static. Put it on AM. And let's turn that volume way down so we don't get any squealing. And I'm going to turn my mic gain all the way down on my Washington. And let's see what it does. You ready? It is on channel 7. See, my gut was right. Alright. So that means we can put this back in and put it on channel 7. Then, can we do this without dropping any pieces? Probably should have put that thing, oh, look at that, it actually went perfect. Did it? No, it didn't. That's not close enough. Ah, almost. Now it's getting stuck in there. That's a tricky little thing to assemble. Let me get that little bolt off the floor. See on the back side? See it? It's just a little bolt in there. Now, let's put that flashlight shining through again. And now it should say 7. Look at that. It's correct. We don't need a mirror anymore to figure out what channel we're on. we're already on 7, so let's stay there. The other radio's on 7 too. Alright, let's check this thing and see what it has for output. Can we see that? No, not really, huh? I wonder if I can get that meter any closer to the camera. There we go. Alright, let's put it on. Oh, it's already on power. And for the 10-watt scale, I have the Pearce Simpson on AM. Let's key it up, see if it does anything. It squeals like crazy because the mic gains up and that other radio's hearing it. See that with the mic down? 5 watts. Nice. Alright, let's check its receive. Let's see if it actually receives. I'm just going to do the same thing. We're just going to make it squeal. Make the other radio hear it a little. Oh, it'd help if I put a little bit of volume to it, huh? I'd say it receives too. Wow, look at that. Even the meter works. Fantastic. That has an awesome meter in it. Can you see that? I think I'm a little too close. It won't focus. There we go. Look at that crazy meter in this thing. We have signal on the top from sideband signal, and then below that is signal strength when you're on AM. Below that is power output when you're on sideband, then power output when you're on AM, and it measures modulation when you're on AM. It's a really cool meter. Oh, that's right, we still need to check this switch too. Find out what's going on with that switch. It receives, it transmits, and even the mic works. This was the main reason I bought this radio. A Turner Plus 3 sells for between $50 and $60 plus shipping on eBay. I paid $58 for the radio and the microphone. I'm most likely going to keep this microphone and resell the radio. So I should be able to get at least half of my money back. The radio works. It receives and transmits. Wow, the needle doesn't go up much though, does it? What if we make it squeal? It still doesn't go up much. It goes up a lot though when we do the other one. Signal coming in, that meter is working fine, but signal going out, it's not measuring much. It is transmitting though. Can you hear my voice over that squeal? What do you think? Should we do a transmit test with it just to hear how it sounds? Why not, right? Alright, let me figure out how to do a test with this to hear how it sounds over the air. I'm by myself today. My wife is at work, so I don't have my helper. I gotta figure out how to get this one done on my own. Alright, let's check the transmit power now. Well, not power, not the audio. I have the camera set up down in the garage, and we're going to transmit down to that radio. Here we go. It's squealing. There we go. Back. Oh, still squealing. That mic needs to be turned down some. Alright, we're checking this old Pearce Simpson Bengal. It's an AM single sideband 23-channel base station. Checking to see how well it transmits. Anybody out there copy this thing? Give me a radio check on that. Guess nobody hears it. Alright, let's go check the recording and see how it sounded.
That radio. Here we go. It's squealing. There we go. Back. Oh, still squealing. That mic needs to be turned down some. Alright, we're checking this old Pearce Simpson Bengal. It's an AM single sideband 23-channel base station. Checking to see how well it transmits. Anybody out there copy this thing? Give me a radio check on it. Testing 1, 2. Checking the receive quality on that Pearce Simpson Bengal. An old 23-channel AM single sideband base station. How's this thing receiving?
How about that? It actually works. It receives and transmits. I don't know how far away it would receive from because that other radio I used is only 100 feet away. But it does receive and transmit. While I had the camera off, I replaced the bad switch for the meter. And I also, can you see that lighting up? See the channel indicator lighting up now? I put a new bulb in that too. Mic jack is all tightened now. The switch is replaced. The channel indicator is working fine. The only thing I have left to do to it is to take the knobs off. They have little Allen head set screws on them. So I need to find my set of Allen wrenches, pull that knob off, and tighten that up. Other than that, I think everything is done on it. It seems to work pretty well. I didn't really show you much about the mic either. The mic is pretty nice. It's in good shape. Let's put you on close up so you can see it. It's a Turner Plus 3. It's not bad considering how old this thing is. It's in pretty good shape. In the bottom. Can you see that without getting any glare? The feet are actually still kind of soft too. I'm real happy with the mic. The radio, well, I don't really care much about the radio. But the microphone will definitely stay here. Put that back on, unblurry. Alright, that's it for now. I'm going to have more videos coming up of some of the other radios. This past week I actually bought 13 CBs. So there'll be a few videos coming up. This was the first one to arrive. Alright guys, I thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.